This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Always good to be joined with Dave Coldwell here at the weigh-in. Steven Cairns is all weighed in ahead of his fight tomorrow night. Looking forward to tomorrow night to see Steven put on another good performance.
Yeah, I always get excited when Steven fights because his potential and his capabilities, and all I ever want is from showing what he does in the gym on a regular basis. He's literally one of the most consistent kids that I've ever dealt with. Dedicated, disciplined, very, very mature as a fighter, and his IQ for me is the most impressive thing. Is what's developing rapidly. You know, these last 18 months, you know, the mentality shown and the development in his boxing brain, that supersedes everything else. The power and things like that that you get excited about, normal fans get excited about. That's great, but as you step up the levels, you need that IQ, you need that understanding of what's going off in the ring in order to land your power shots. And he's got heavy hands anyway, so he's one of these fighters where each shot they hit you with, you feel the weight of the shots. So that just comes with it.
You mentioned there about sort of one of the hardest workers, and he's a guy that's always going to be in the gym. Is the thing important for him now consistency, I guess? Because obviously, you know, it's obviously had the fight in Belfast that ended very quickly. So is it important now that you just want to sort of keep the ball rolling?
I just want activity, and that's the reason why is at Queensberry. When I was speaking with George Warren, I explained to him what I want. I'm not one of these that wants to rush him because he's very young. We just need activity. We need to put into practice what we're doing in the gym. The quality and the calibre of the people that he's sparring has been fantastic for him. You know, for this one, we had a day where we were sparring with Mark Chamberlain. You know, things like that. You know, he's sparring past people like Gary Cully and being over to America, and he's getting good rounds, good experience. I just want the fight for him to be able to go through scenarios and practice what we're doing, and then when we step up, he's ready. You know, like his name suggests, you know, to take over.
I was going to say that, like, when... Yeah. So, like, when would the time be for yourself where it's like the time is now for him to step up? Like, is there ever any an ideal path, or is it sparring on what you see? Like,
no. Ability-wise, I could. There's a lot of fighters out there that would be right now. You know, but then you stuck there, and then it's experience, scenarios that happen in a fight that you haven't experienced. You know, so I want to get a run of fights together. You know, let's get a run of fights together, and you know, we've jumped in a couple of weeks' notice for this. We were due to box in October, but it shows you his professional is in the gym. We don't do camps. He's in the gym all the time. He has a week off, goes on holiday after a fight, goes back home and sees his family because he's left all his family in Ireland to come and train with me. And then he's straight back into the gym, so he's able to jump in at 3 weeks' notice. But it's a 6-rounder, so I'm wanting a steady diet of 8-rounders, and then we go into 10s and 12s after that. That's not a problem.
Did want to ask about other guys in the stable? Obviously, Lerone back now. Is it all starting to get a little bit familiar, sort of familiar beginnings again? Yeah. It has taken there are things that we've got to go back to, and it takes a bit of time, but yeah, it's getting nice and smooth. It's like on a personality level with the lads, it's like he's never left. You know, we always kept in touch. We were always friends, so there's none of that like, oh, are you going to gel or not? No, it's just straight back to like how it used to be. It's just the workload, and now we're just stepping it up, and he's getting back into his flow, and then the next stage will be where he's sparring, and we start moving ahead rapidly. Absolutely. And another guy I did want to actually ask about was Dan Howard, and a similar prospect to I guess Steven. When you've got these guys that are coming through, it must be exciting as well when you see what they do in the gym, then you're just waiting to sort of repeat that on fight night, I guess.
Yeah, mate. Listen, I've got a phenomenal young stable of fighters, some serious talent. Dan Howard, he's very, very good, very, very good. Again, he's getting quality sparring in the gyms. I know sparring is not fighting, I understand that, but it's how do they use the spars. It's how we use the spars. It's not about crash bang wallop and shit like that. It's developing that IQ. It's knowing when to go, when not to go, knowing how to manipulate certain situations. And he's getting it all. He's only had 4 fights, and he's very, very good. A long way to go yet, but he's a great talent. I've got Ellis Price, who again, he made his debut. Barry Jones watching it, doing the commentary, was absolutely blown away by his debut. He's a super talent. Again, sparring top quality fighters and getting all that experience in. And he's had 1 fight. It's exciting times. I'm really enjoying the work in the gym.
For sure. I did just want to quickly move on and ask you about 21st September. Is edging ever closer? I don't know if you would have seen it, but there has been the trailers dropped today.
They're not going to get my
hopefully. I don't know if you've seen it, but obviously the trailers dropped for that. I guess have you not seen it?
Now somebody just told me about it, but I've not seen it.
So I guess it's all gearing towards then.
It's the trailer up there with the previous trailers that they've done.
They've got Daniel Dubois singing "Sweet Caroline" and everyone like that. So it's
that's good and bad, because that's going to be good to see Daniel Dubois singing, but I hate that song. I've got to admit, I'm not a fan of that song when it comes out. I think it's just been done to that. I hate that song.
Yeah, definitely. But I guess as it's gearing ever closer, we're getting more and more come out from either camp. Sort of the Dubois talking about visual, like he can see his Wembley from his gym and that. So when you sort of see it all building up now, it must be so exciting. And I guess, has your opinion changed, would you say, from when it got announced to now?
It's not that it's not changed. It's not changed, but it surprise me if Daniel wins. No, it doesn't. It's not going to be a big shock for me. I just think he's capable of winning. I think he's got a fantastic jab. I think he's very, very powerful. He's a great body puncher, which could be a big key to this fight. But I just think, on what I've seen of both fighters throughout their careers, I think AJ, you would have to say, is a little bit more seasoned. And with the experience he's got, I think as an all-round fighter, the level he's boxing at, I edge towards him. Coupled with the fact that I feel that Daniel's a bit easy to hit, and if Daniel's easy to hit in this fight, then I think he loses the fight. But if he has managed to take that away, then he's got a real shout in it. I just think it's a great fight. Listen, it's heavyweight boxing between 2 massive punchers, 2 guys that can go over themselves, 2 guys that have had questions themselves. AJ's looked great in his last couple of fights, but really he should have done, because the levels he's been boxing at, he's been boxing at a lower level than what Dubois has been boxing in his last couple of fights.
So I was sorry to cut you off there, but it's what I was going to get onto, and it said, like, when people say AJ's turned the corner, is that a fair, is there still questions over that, because we don't know, because of the level of competition that he's faced?
The question is what happens when it comes back on him, if it comes back on him, because we've never doubted AJ's ability, we've never doubted his punching power, his speed, timing on his shots, things like that. The only thing that people question is how he got beat by Ruiz, how he's maybe seemed a little bit when things aren't going his way, maybe a little bit hesitant. Those little things but he's not showed that in these fights, but you wouldn't expect him to in these fights that he's at. It's a very intriguing fight, because if Dubois starts landing, starts getting his own way, then you'll see what version of Anthony Joshua we've got. And it's only I don't think there's anything there where you'd say, oh, he's not, he's not got it anymore, or anything like that. I think in that little period where he seemed to be a little bit, not perhaps confused, but maybe a little bit in between styles, and there wasn't a certain confidence in what he wanted to do. I think that was more of a question than anything else, in terms of questioning his heart. It's more like his
or his desire or anything like that, because the man works so hard. He's an unbelievable athlete. He's dedicated. He lives his life as you'd want a professional boxer to live a life. So there's no questions in that, because you've got to have that desire to live like that. The thing was maybe he doubted himself because he didn't have a settled plan what he wanted to be as a fighter. I think with Ben now, he's got a settled sort of way that he's looking, the way that Ben's explained it and Leal have explained it, and Barrett. I think the way that they've coached him is that it's there. This. He's like, yeah, I'm on board. Knows exactly what to do. That's what I'm going to do. And I think he's got that confidence in that, and I think that's made him into what we're seeing at the moment. But the level that he's been fighting, the results of AJ doing that are what you would expect. Dubois, you've got to say, Gerald Miller's not the best fighter in the world. He's not a great sort of level. He's a kind of like similar level to like Wallins and people. Yeah. I wouldn't even. Wallin at his best would beat Miller. So although we give Dubois all the credit in the world for that fight, don't get carried away. I'm more where the credit and the praise is how he answered demons about it himself. But he still got hit a lot in that fight.
So when you say about the but it was just, I'm just going on the question. So when you say about the demons, is it still right to say it, because whenever he's been tested, or whenever his heart's been tested, that's been at elite level, and could you say that we're really yet to see him push to the max where that could be an option?
No, because against Miller it was really, really hard for him, and so I think he's found a way to cope through those tough moments. So I don't actually question that anymore in him. I know what with Usyk, I know with he took the knee against Joe Joyce, but that was a really tough fight with Gerald Miller. What I'm saying is the level of Gerald Miller. Don't get carried away with the win and say that that's the reason why you're backing him to beat AJ, because Miller and AJ are two completely different fighters. So the fact that he had to struggle with Miller is kind of a red flag. But the fact that even though he had to struggle, the way that he coped with it and came back is a great green flag. The Hrgović fight, again, he took a lot of shots in there. It was hard because he's getting nailed, but you never saw any sort of signs of I can't do this. He was like, I'm going to do this, and no matter what you do to me, I'm going through you. That's what I'm saying, is I ain't got any questions about him now when it comes down to that. That's something where at the time, but I think I've always said the first time you ever quit is the hardest. Yeah. So it's always going to be easier, but you've still got that will to stop yourself from doing it. I don't believe that once you've quit, you'll always quit when again. You can turn that round, and I believe that he's turned that round. I just think the levels, we can't get too carried away with his great successes there, because the levels of opponents aren't on the level of Anthony Joshua. It's like Hrgović against Joshua. Even though I'm talking about pre-Dubois, I'd still tip Joshua to beat Hrgović. So I still don't believe that he's beaten anybody at AJ's level yet. So that's I go with AJ.
Absolutely. But yeah, I appreciate it, Dave. Thank you for taking time to speak to me. Always good to catch up with you, mate. And yeah, all the best for tomorrow. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Cheers, mate. Top man.